Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's another fun-filled day. It is Thursday, and ECB is going to be doing something. Jobless claims just came out. 222K, 222,000 actuals. Estimated was going to be 240. It sounds like the European Union is going to raise its rates. Almost everybody is pricing in now anywhere from a half to 3/4. So, they're fighting the inflation finally. It's like, it's like pulling teeth. It's like, oh my goodness, they make it very hard to get this stuff done in the end. Let's get the dollar index up. You can see we got a big red marker there on the Hinky-Ashki on the dollar index moving down. And you see the same thing over here on, actually, was it Chicago Quant has it, went into the sell yesterday. I guess at the end of the day they did that damage to it. We just didn't look at it. Let's put that in there like so. So it went into the sell yesterday. And you can see it's going into the sell today here on J4X. And let's check the chat line. Make sure we're not missing anybody's questions so far. And there it is. Click the doodah. So, there we go. There's Janos. ECB just hiked. No surprise. Exactly. All priced in. Explains why the dollar has been heading up, but euro is still at par. Yeah, I know. I guess, the same situation is that, it's a combination of inflation and interest rates. I guess it's maybe it's anticipation of interest rates because of the inflation. Excuse me. I would say it's something like that. It's the carry cost in the end result. So in other words, that's why some things have moved out of their range or moved to the bottom or the top of the ranges and kind of superseded them after a couple of years of staying in those ranges. I imagine it is a dilemma on some level for money to have to be adjusted for these ranges that became established. Because again, quantitative easing, the objective is stability. That's what the objective is, that key word, stability. In other words, they don't want a lot of change. They want consistency. That's why they wouldn't even raise the interest rates. I mean, things were so fragile in the minds of the way they viewed it from the central banks that they were terrified even to just raise a 1/4 percentage point. They just got hooked on that low interest rate and stayed there and didn't want to think hard about it. They're floating. I mean, when you really think about the whole story, I mean, the fact that they hand Citadel $1 billion a night for free for overnight money, and they do the same thing to J.P. Morgan, and they do it to all these banks and institutions and hedge funds. They're handing them free money overnight means they want stability, and so that stability kept currency pairs in trading ranges for years. And then the inflation, they sang that song that it was going to be what do they call it? I want to say fleeting, but it wasn't that. They had a better name for it. Transitory. That's right. So they were calling it transitory. In other words, it's just something just going through a quick motion. It's going through a surprise event that will stop after a couple months. Won't have any real lingering effect. And so that was the transitory concept. But obviously, a lot of us over a year and a half ago were saying, no, we have inflation, and it's not transitory. And here we are a year and a half later, we're sitting in the 8.5% area of inflation. And, it's just not going away. So now they have to slow the economy, which is not what stability means. So they're really trapped in a very odd position, for the stability. They think unemployment could be starting to jump after August. This is going to be very interesting. I thought it would move up too. So I'm starting to see some names from the past in big positions like former Treasury secretaries and so forth, saying that the unemployment could leap up pretty quickly out of nowhere. I thought that should do that, at this point, but we'll see. Only time will tell, because it's a Bureau of Labor statistic, and that thing is kind of soft when it comes to its accuracy. Let's say that's the way I look at it. It's kind of soft. So you can see here, overall, the dollar index, up a little bit today, but still in the daily sell. But the weekly is very firm here with no problem whatsoever. And the same thing over here on the daily. It's going into the sell. We'll see how long that lasts. See if it starts to curve here over the next day. Now let's jump over to the euro. As Janos said, the euro is trading basically above par at the moment. That's 100. We call that par. Where's it at? Right there. There we are. You can see a nice move there for the second day. Let's put it up on Chicago Quant. Right there. There we go. Right there. You can see that. Just you see just a little nip up, but it's a down candle, so obviously it's just kind of down a bit. Nothing physically exploding at this point. Yesterday was the real action. It went into a buy. So put that in there like that. Buy. There we go. Nope, that one there. There we go. So went into the buy yesterday, but the weekly, you can see the weekly's not really budging from it. It seems to be trapped in this big rectangular range. We'll see how much they get. Matter of fact, we probably should Fibonacci that just for the fun of it. It probably is even more insight. But let's just see. That didn't do it. I think that was a Gann fan. Resistance lines. Remove that drawing. Let's see. How about this one? So I guess if we take that and move it down to today, there we are. I guess the orange line. I don't like that. I can see the Fibonacci in the background, but I still don't like it. Let's get rid of that too. Just so I take a look at it in that form. Well, we'll just stay with our math for the moment there, but what it comes down to in the end result is that currency pairs are trying to reestablish a trading range with the interest rate increases. Now, if the ECB will match the Americans constantly, then we'll see that stability again. Europe since Europe is not really growing, and like I say, the motto of European Union or the ECB is European Central Bank's motto is buy low, sell lower, whereas at least in the United States the motto is for the Federal Reserve is buy low, sell high. And so why I say that and bring it up is that it's very hard when you're not growing, which Europe is not. You have your pockets like Poland and Czech Republic and so forth, and Hungary and a few of the other countries over there, Slovakia and so forth are growing more. A few of the others too, the old Eastern, but the old Western European countries like the pigs are just doing horrible. They're not growing at all. They've gotten too socialist to the point where they're not growing whatsoever anymore. And so, Portugal and Italy, and Italy literally needs to leave the European Union to be able to be allowed to grow again. At this point, that's the way they feel. And Greece and Spain, they're all they're barely growing. So if you're not growing, it's very hard for a government to pay you interest on bonds. They're not bringing in the tax dollars to do it to begin with. So. That's about it. That's it with the euro. Unless anybody wants to see anything, we will drift over to the cable. Cable I thought would be even more firm. It's up from yesterday, just a little bit. Actually, it's down a little bit from yesterday. You can see that there. Let's put it up on J4X. They're going to start fracking again in England. Thank goodness. Starting to take energy serious again. To me, I don't think Earth can save the solar system. So I think most of this green stuff is ridiculous. I mean, clean water, yeah. Less, in pollution, of course. But America is the cleanest country in the world, and we're not getting a lot of help from everybody else. We're just getting a lot of lip service. I mean, India and China and so forth are just not that clean. Russia's oil is very dirty, and their gas is dirty. So, we do it differently when we're drawing energy out of the ground. We do it very cleanly. In this case here, you can see the cable trying to lift up, and I saw really good news. Like I said, the new prime minister, she's going to open fracking up again, which is very important. There you are. I thought of you. You know why I thought of you, 47? I thought of you because we switched the S&P 500 to December, and I did not switch the Nikkei to December. So we will probably do that live in front of everybody. All right, let's go to the Nikkei to start off with. Banzai. Konnichiwa. All right, there is Nikkei. Remember, it's the switch. Today's the switch where they switch to the next quarterly thing, and then September expires next Friday morning. Not this Friday, next Friday. So 8 trading days from now. So there's Nikkei in September, and it's climbing into a buy there. You can see that. We got a volatility signal yesterday. You can see the weekly is through the zero line again, which is nice. And now let's do that. Let's switch it over and see what it looks like on a December contract. Let's see, like that, like that, like that. There it is right there. Yeah, see, it's way less accurate. Let me just close this for a second, just for you to see that. Cancel. Close. Yeah, you see, there's like nothing back there. So, you know what we may do? What's that? That's yesterday. That's not even today. I say we go back to September and for a couple more days, just because it was more accurate, So there, matter of fact, that's the 7th, and there's not even a trade today in December for the daily. That's why I didn't even switch to weekly. Let's go back to September. Septidee-doo-dah. There we are. Yeah, so look at that. Now it's giving us 2 of those. Let's see. What's the setting on that? Let's try that. There we are. So you see it's moving up, and the weekly's moving up. So that's Nikkei. Now let's go over to, there it is right there. The S&P 500 doing the same. Oh, it's down a little bit, but it's playing with the daily buy also, just the same way the Nikkei is. Let's put that in there like that. Right there. There we go. Let's save that. Save workspace. There we go. Still with the Japan voice. I have a saying, Janos. You're going to like this. When you turn 60, everybody does Shotokan. I say that to all my black belts. I say to them, when you turn 60, doesn't matter what style of martial arts you've been doing all your life, everybody turns to Shotokan, because it's just front kicks and punches. And it's a lot easier when you're than doing spin kicks and hop kicks and so forth. So yeah, I have that thing. And then when I was young, I used to work out with the Grand Master of Aikido. He was an American. He learned he was in Japan for, I don't know, 6, 7, 10 years, something like that, after the war. So, we used to the black belts used to get together, and we would do different mixed martial arts up at the time. But yes, I like using uh, that grouchy, that not grouchy, that gravelly voice. Konnichiwa. Everybody turns to Shotokan. You're a young guy. Wait till you start trying to do defensive techniques when you're 60. You'll find that you all of a sudden you are Shotokan. All right. Where'd we leave off? So yeah, look at the December. There's December S&Ps, and they're trying to perk up. Now, I'm not putting December in for what is it for the Tech 100. They take a couple days to get volume into that for some reason. It's odd. Maybe Monday, Tuesday we'll be able to switch over to December. Probably Monday on the Tech 100. Let's put this up on J4X real quick, just to show you where it's at. Konnichiwa. Banzai. Where are we at this point? So yeah, we're doing the switch over the next 24, 48 hours, which is really, interesting at the same time as the ECB. Oh, and what Mr. Powell speaks today too. So we have Powell speaking today, like early. We have, ECB raising the rates already. We have talk of 6% unemployment in the States. So yeah, it's a real trafficy set of days, And when I say traffic, it means that cars are going in every direction. Very trafficy day. All right, back to the currencies. Unless someone wants to see something, and I'm really glad to alter my direction. Believe me, I like adventuring around. Look at that ECB, the cable slipping down. It's breaking down. What's just for a quick look? What's the euro doing? Euro doing the same thing? Yeah, it's moving down too. Then we go from there to the Swiss. Let's take a look at the Swiss. Oh, I saw something in the ads, or the newspaper this morning. One of the newspapers, one of my websites. It's not really a newspaper anymore. It's all electronic to me. But they're gonna fine people, and there's actually jail time in Switzerland if they use too much heat. That's too weird. It's all too weird. All too weird. Okay, so you can see, and that's the Euro Swiss. Where's regular Swiss? Right there. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Moving down, moving against the dollar nicely. Second day in a row in a sell. Let's see what it looks like over there. Swiss Aroni. Right there. I see that starting it off today. It was almost yesterday. And the green line has been pressing down. Do you like that answer, Giannis, about my Japanese voice? Yes, indeed. Let's see. What else can we say about the Swiss? I guess that's about it, really. That is really what it comes down to. Is that the concept itself of penalizing people because they're trying to stay warm seems kind of weird to me. But go figure. In these times, they think that they're saving the solar system. Save the solar system. There we go. All right, I got a picture for you now, Giannis. You'll like this. Let's see if I can get it. There it is. Oh, no, I pushed it wrong. Let's see what happens. There we go. There we go. The secrets of Shotokan. See? When you're old, you just go forward. Like that. No dancing anymore. I dance still. But it's still, I find that the front kick is one of the best at this point. So anyway, when it comes to the energies and the marketplace itself, trying to decide how cold you have to live, I have always, for some reason, found it amusing that desu is affirmative in Japanese and sausage is in Latvia. Can you look at yen? Yeah, let's check. Oh man, how about those moves the last couple of days in the yen? Look at that. Now today it's relatively docile, but I mean yesterday at one point when we were doing the webinar, that thing was full. That candle was full, and it's looking very firm. I really think that I've been saying that since it was down at 115. I've been saying that I think that the Japanese yen is really the like the canary in the coal mine. I think it's really giving us good clarity of the way pairs are trading around the planet. Is that a big resistance to 145? What? How many? Let's just put it. I know that we're using the Hinky Ashkies, but let's put it up on J4X and throw it up on the whole page and go back and look at, say, a monthly and see what the flavor looks like. There it comes now. So there's monthly. Hasn't been there since 2000, we don't know. Might be in the 1990s. That goes all the way back to 2003. And, look at that. So, I kind of remember, I traded the currency pretty actively from like 84, 83, I guess 83, 82. 1982 all the way to around 99, 98, 97. I guess it was after the debacle of long-term capital management. What was that, 95? I kind of started moving away from the currencies. I mean, we're involved in them, but not as much, I mean, the stock indices became so much more liquid. I mean, they were liquid in the 80s, but they really became much more liquid. The options and the stock indices themselves became way more liquid. So you think 145 is what? Is that a big support back in the 1990s? Is that when they went on that crazy buying spree where they bought all these properties around the world, all these big name properties in the United States, and then they kind of went belly up a little bit from it? They lost money from it all. 100-year mortgages and all this other crazy stuff. Does that make any sense to you, Giannis? Is that where the 145 is basically from? Because you can see on J4X, J4X, you can see it. It's not. It's back beyond 2002. We can't even see it. Do you have a chart where it shows it? I could go look it up on another chart service. Let me see if I can do that. Let's see. Metals, energy, softs, currencies. There we go. Japanese yen. These are futures contracts, so that's not that exciting. Let's see. I like to see the spot. The spot would be much more accurate. All right, but that's the yen. You can see it's not having a problem with its weekly whatsoever. Its daily is not complaining either. It's been in that buy since the 137.65 area. It's gone almost 9 handles from that. There's a good winner chicken dinner. All right. Did we do Canada yet? No, I know what it is. We jumped over to yen. So let's do this. Let's go to Turkish lira. See what they're doing with that thing. There's the dollar side of it. Still kind of very firm. Trying to get into the buy today, and that weekly is not really doing anything but hanging out. And then let's go to daily. And then let's go over to Turkish lira. Euro Turkish lira. Let's see what that looks like. Trading at 18.29. Wow, there's a nice spike, huh? And this is trading at 18.23. I mean, yesterday it was at 18.04 in the euro. Turkish lira pairs trade. There it is right there. Second day in the daily buy. The pressure came more from yesterday. Went into the daily buy yesterday, and it was a big spike. And then, it's really playing it strong now. Yeah, that 145 would be interesting where you derive that from. That must be something out there in the... Is it around the long-term capital management time? I kind of remember 147. I think I do. I remember 147 being something. I do. I remember that now that we talk about it. Because I did. I traded yen. I remember, one time it dropped so big. We were in a sell. We were short and it collapsed. It was like, wow. Boy, did I look smart. Hey, Robin. I got the December S&P going today, and we'll probably move to the December NQs on Monday, and the Dow probably tomorrow. Remember, the switch starts today. So this is the second Thursday of the month. Can you imagine that? It's going to be an early expiration. So next Friday is what? Next Friday is the 16th. So next Friday is expiration. Let's see. That's the triple witching, no less, of September. Wow. Then we're in Dex. Christmas. All right. From there, we slide over to the Canadian right there. And Canadian's trying to lift back up again after being in a sell for a couple of days. Or 2 days now. It's right there. Weekly is holding up pretty well, even with it aiming down. Let's take a look at what was that? Crude oil. So we go to crude oil right there. And crude is up on the day. And you can see here, it is kind of losing a little value at the moment, but it is in a sell. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, rollovers were great, weren't they? Really enjoyed those. Now let's do the reverse. Let's put gold. Oh, not there. Okay. Let's put oil up on the screen here through Chicago Quant. There's a spot. You see it's trying to lift up, but it's been a daily sell from, the 90s area. And it's just flirting with the weekly finally now. And then let's put it over here, the CAD, right there. Trying to push down today. So there's a little battle going on there on the Canadian. I'll just show it to you again. The Canadian's trying to lift up, and you can see the line is trying to move through the zero line. It's very close to it. Oh yeah, rollover was fun. It was fast and furious at times. Especially, remember when it was in the afternoon? It wasn't in the morning. Remember when they switched it to the morning of the Friday morning from Friday afternoon to try to cut out the afternoon volatility. All those wild moves at the end of the day when they were all working together. That was fun. And then, let's see. From there, we go over to the South African Rand. Right there. We're going to put the Rand up here. South African Rand right there. You see that's moving up, and obviously gold must be moving down. Let's check out gold on J4X. Right there. Now it says it's up, but right there it says it's down. The Hinky-Ashki is still moving up. So we'll reverse that out and go, there's gold. And it was up, and it's trying to get into a buy, whereas silver's in that buy. And then we'll put South African Rand in there, right there. It's moving up. So, the metals complex is telling us that that basically that the South African rand is telling us that the gold has problems. They're still not lifting them enough. I myself still am waiting. I said end of September, maybe going into October, we start to get that lift, or after the election, one or the other. But I think the fourth quarter is going to be a stronger gold. So wherever fourth quarter starts, I think gold, and that's why I think they took it down. I think, Robin and I talked about this morning. We post stuff in Trader's World. Robin is now the gatekeeper of Trader's World. So the website, or the Facebook part of it. So in the end result is that we were talking about that because we post stuff in Trader's World. Let's see, what do we got here? So there's Deck Gold, and that's it. That's the action there. We'll come back to silver after we finish off the rest of the currencies, which is just looking at. We looked at the yen already, so we just drift to the what do we drift to? We drift to the Mexican peso, and then we be done. We be done. Right there, there's the Mexican peso. It's doing its thing again too, trying to lift up, and that it's trying to get into a weekly, but nothing big there. I mean, it's just the shadow or the echo. It's the echo doing it more than anything else, but not the actual lines. They're not turning up, so not really worried about that too much either. In other words, I think it's just going to hang out down towards the bottom end of its range for the time being. What else can we say about any of that? And then from there we go to we go to the metals complex. Let's do metals. So we'll go to metals. So we have gold there. So now let's take a look at silver. Silver was looking very firm this morning, and it's still just barely it's still plus. And Robin and I were talking about that this morning, as I was saying, as I think that basically the central banks took gold down because it's going to be strong in the fourth quarter, and they didn't want it starting from say 24 or 25. They would rather take it down and let it rise from 17, 18, and then see it get back to like 25. Matter of fact, that would be a very interesting thing. Let's look and see what is the 12-month of gold. Where did gold? Let's go over to it real quick for gold. Where did it start in January of last year? Let's make this the full screen. So there's gold, and there is January. So gold started in January. Where's that? Like the 18s, maybe 19s, something like that, right around there. What is that, like 1850? So in other words, think about it. Here where gold is at 17. Where's gold now? It's at that's silver up there. Let me just see where gold is. So gold right now is at 1723. So all it has to do is go up like $150 for the up over the next 4 months, and it'll close out higher for the year. And then people won't say, "Well, wait a second, we have inflation and gold closed out $50 higher this year." They'll say, "Yeah, that's correct. That's what it's supposed to do." After all, whereas we would, all of us around here, we keep on thinking gold should be like $4,000 or $5,000, but that's me. With all the confusion that goes on, that's where my head's at. But no, that seems to be the recipe at the moment. So. What you have is gold taken down by the central banks, so when it rallies this year, it won't be closing out at, say, all-time highs. I think the last thing they want to see is something closing at all-time highs when it comes to gold or silver. So there's too much pressure on the banks and the funds, the hedge funds and mutual funds and so forth, by closing out like that. All right. From there, we like I said, we go to silver. We were looking at it a few seconds ago, and you can see there the silver is just plus by a few cents. Yesterday it closed at 38, and right now it's trading at, well, it says it's higher, but I'm not sure why that is like that. Is that right? So it says 38 yesterday. So why is it saying it's up when it's trading at 37? I don't know. End result is that it's pretty much unchanged and showing strength. Now what we want to see this move into a weekly buy over the next 3 weeks or so. Imagine if it going into October, we see that go into a weekly buy and we're in a daily buy. We think there's going to be a lot of opportunity on the upside. That's how we see it. All right. From there we go over to copper. Right there. Copper's a third day in a buy, moving up, and it's flirting with the weekly buy. Seeing some of the upwardly pressure that we expect to see over the next few months. And then this goes into a weekly buy first. That will give us really confidence that we're going to see some strength in the other metals. So see how it's in a weekly sell for a second week. Next week, it looks like it'll close like this. I doubt, there'll be a lot of strength. So it closes like this. Next week, it may flirt with the weekly buy. The following, that makes the 16th. The 23rd, is it? I guess you could say it could go into a weekly buy. And then literally the 1st of October, the metals contracts might go, the other metals contracts like silver and gold might go into a weekly buy. And that could be, that'll be right on top, only 4 weeks away from the election. And then money's going to start, they're going to have by then they'll have a very solid idea what's going on. And we'll go from there. So, from there, that's the metals. That completes the metals. Let's go over to the energies. And there's spot oil, trying to lift up a little bit today, which makes me surprised that basically Canadian is not going down. Canadian seems to be trying to lift up a little bit here. And let's take a look at it there. There's Brent. Brent is trying to lift up. It says it's up 1.5% at the moment. And you can see it's trying to head back towards that 90 area. It was a nice big smash, when it comes to, we're down to 81.20 today. Usually this thing seems to be trapped around the 90s area, like 88, 87, something like that, 86, 87, 88 stuff. Like all that there underneath the 90 area. But this thing really broke down. And again, in this particular, they say inventories are enormous. That's what put pressure on it, is the inventories are enormous because people are just driving less. I drove last night. I came back from dinner, and it was like 7:45. Okay, I went 5 miles before I passed a car. 5 miles. What's that? 9 kilometers before I saw another car. So people are just not driving as much anymore. They're not out and about as much as they are. They're just because gas prices are still in the three. I think they're like $3.70 a gallon here still. So that's really putting pressure on the whole game right there alone. Now we go over to natural gas. That was in the 7s yesterday. Let's see where it's at now. Still in the 7s. It's moving up a little bit, but it's still in the 7s, and it's daily sell now since the 9.5 area. The high of 965 that day, low of 933 went into the sell. So that's a lot to be said, Took it down almost $2 a cubic foot. And it's still in the weekly buy. It is curved underneath the time manifold, so we'll see how that plays out by the end of the week. That would be a nice thing to see. Oh, what's this? Yano says, what did Lagarde just say? Oh, I didn't know. I missed it. Let's see. Let me see if I can spot it. Good old Christine. They don't have her up on the screen over here. They're talking about something else at the moment. But let's see. The headline I'm seeing so far is about trusts. and her about her for consumers quietly rescues energy traders, provides open-ended bailout for utilities. You know, she's opening up fracking. So let's see, what else can we say? U.S. continuing jobless claims hit 5-month highs. The decoupling from the Bureau of Labor Statistics data remains confounding. And didn't I just say that too? How about that? That's an interesting headline. Oh, here you go. Here's Christina. She's saying it's just about raising rates further to dampen demand. And we have the answer after lots of hemming and hawing moments ago. Okay, that's just the price increase. I haven't seen anything else. Yeah, whatever she said, I saw that. You know, we mentioned that it's dropping, and so is silver, and you know, silver is pressing down, and gold is pressing down. Let's see, where's that at? Let's go back to the currencies. Oh wow, really putting a punch in the face, isn't it? Now let's see what cable's doing. Cable's being beat up too. The European Union is, in many ways, it's great for everybody to be in NATO, but when it comes to the European Union, sometimes you just have to scratch your head. Yeah, look at that. And that's the cable, and the euro right there. What a punch! It's playing. It's plus again. It had slid under minus for a few seconds there, and in the gas line. Now it's plus again. There's so much that can be said that's so bad about all of what they've been doing that it's like no reason to get going too crazy at the moment about it. But yeah, that pressure's on. Matter of fact, it looks like it's going after its lows again of the day. As we speak, we're going after the lows. We should have an intraday. Don't we have an intraday on this thing? I want to see what an intraday. There it is. 93 tick. Check this out. Doc's math picked that up. Nice. Went into the sell. Did it go in there and there? Yep. There's this. Is that it? No, that's not it. Plot 1. No. There's the sell right there. So it went into a sell at par and change, or just below par, at 99.96.6 and fell to 99.34. That's my 1/3 Tesla, or it's a 93. There, that's it right there. Is that good to see? I think it is. Yeah. Let's widen this out. There's the intraday of it. Starting to try to do a little bouncing here as we speak. This is interesting. It went into the sell. Where are we at now? So it went into the sell before. So they front run the move. So it was in a sell right here. It was in a sell right there. Then they slammed it. So they front runned it. My math shows money was coming in knowing that it was going to go down. They slammed it. And then they get into the buy right there. Right there, to get into the buy. And it lasts for just 2 bars, gets back into the sell, and has been in the sell all the way to this point right there. So it gets into the buy, goes up a little bit for a couple of bars, and then now it's back into the sell. And it's a good slam on the downside. Cool. I know I keep one tick chart in my Dukascopy day week folder. I love that. All right, where were we? Oh yeah, we were looking at natural gas, right? So there it is right there. And natural gas is trying to lift up a little bit, actually. No, that's silver. I'm sorry. So silver is trying to come back a little bit. Seems like it at least. Let's get the natural gas again. Nat gas. What was it up on the screen there? I have Brent up there now, so you can see. I wonder what crude's doing. Did it have an effect on crude? Not too much, really. I mean, it's just still popping. I guess the weekly is flirting right on the edge. Look at it. 6, 4, 5, 2. What is it? 3. It's trying to get into the minus, the weekly. It's at 3 now. So, yeah, that's the action. Let's go just one more quick look of the daily. Away from the... Well, you can see the intraday is trying to turn up. We're trying. That's the key word there. Remember those days I used to put that on the camera, and you could watch the whole euro trade throughout the whole webinar. You could use our math, doing that. Let's see. So there it is right there. They made a new low, and they bounced off of that. New low for the day on the euro. And then where do we go from there on the energy side? So we looked at nat gas. Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to look at that Spanish company, just for the sake of it at this point. And I've gotten so used to being able to look at that. I was thinking that was because of the multiplier, but it's not. Obviously, Janos straightened us out on that one. There it is right there. It's a Spanish oil company. Good. It's down to 27.34. So I figure when it's going down, and the same thing is going on with our natural gas, it must mean more positive, good things for Europe. That's the way I look at it. And natural gas users. Banzai. All right. So from there, we're going to drift over to the stock indices and see what's going on with the stock indices. All right. So there's the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, which was fighting to be plus, has backed off. Let's go over and look at them in the intraday venue. So when we started this webinar, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up about 40 points. Now it's down 148. S&Ps were plus about 3 or 4. Now they're minus 23. And the Tech 100 is down 90. And I think they were like, plus 18, something like that. Bitcoin obviously has been falling. But it's still plus. It's up $50 for the day. So that's the stock indices at a glance. Now let's take a look at them individually on a daily basis. So right there is the S&Ps trying to get into that daily buy, but backing off at the moment and still in the weekly sell. Then we go and look at the NQs right there. You see the same thing there. It's trying to go into a daily buy, and it's still in the weekly sell. So the pressure is on, and it's at the lows of today. So whatever was said, it could be employment numbers too. There's a lot of chatter on the screens I have here now. They're chattering about the employment more. They're concerned about the employment. Larry Summers had come on about 30, 40 minutes ago. I was mentioning, I didn't say his name, but he came on and said he sees 6% unemployment over the next 2 months. So, and then I guess you can see it on Zero Hedge. Let me see what it says. On Zero Hedge, they said something like that too. Let's see if we can find it. They called there it is right there. We don't need that. There we go. U.S. continuing job claims hit 5-month highs, and that's what's maybe starting to shake them up a little bit. This takes down every category, And however, continuing jobless claims rose once again and is now at the highest since early April. So the decoupling of the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics data, remains confounding. So that's probably the whole recipe right there, traders. Is that, it's just like the gold, or not, the oil inventory was enormous last night on the Wednesday report. They do a year over year, and it was a very big number. So people are not using the oil. At the same time, Mr. Biden is pulling 1 million barrels a day out of our reserves, out of the reserve storage, refusing to allow them to just drill for it. If they just let them drill, that would be fine. So that would be just nice, let them do that. All right, from there, we go over to the Dow Jones Industrial Average right there. You can see it's moving down now. It has not gotten into the daily buy, it looks like, at this moment. Maybe it was up there earlier, and you can see the weekly seems to be parked down here. Let's show you that. Right there. And you can see a little green starting to dance. It's trying to lift. It's trying to do it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I think, again, with the metals getting some strength, I think the equities will get the strength also going into the fourth quarter. So I think it'll be a combination of both. There has been kind of a conversation about double dip recessions. People are thinking that this quarter, if it shows to be plus, and if the Atlanta Federal Reserve keeps on changing things and trying to get to plus, that then the following quarter could be minus, and that could really put a charge into the stock market because people like to buy low and sell high here in the States. And so when it's a recession, it makes them feel more comfortable about trying to buy good companies that pay dividends. Now, from there, we go and look at the Bitcoin right there. And there's Bitcoin. You can see it's trying to lift. It's still plus for the day. As we showed you here, it's still plus 50. And let's see what the last trade is. 18,975. It's offered at 970, so that's it's less than 50 now, because the offer is at 45 basically, plus 45, and the bid is, let's see, so there's 55 bid for. There's 50 bid for again, so that would be up only plus 25. And looking at it right there, and let's put it up on J4X. Right there. Still in the red. We've been in a sell on that thing for, 3, 6, 9. This will be the 10th day in a sell. So a lot of pressure on the marketplace itself when it comes to the equities. And we kind of look at cryptos as some type of super equity. You know what it is? It's a banking equity. I wonder how much correlation we will see when looking at, say, well, here we have a Goldman Sachs chart. Why don't we do that? Let's put Goldman Sachs up. That's the only bank I have at the moment right in my hand. Right there. So, right there, here's Goldman Sachs. Let's see what it looks like. It's on that same slope as the cryptos have been on. Mainly in a sell most times. Now it went into a buy yesterday. Or no, I guess that's today. That's today. Today's the 8th. So it's trying to climb into a buy now in the pre-market. So it's been on that same slope as, let's go back to it here. Same thing. It's been in that same slope since, what's that, 818. 822, yeah. So crypto started off selling first, and then the banks started to sell afterwards. Matter of fact, you know what I have also? We can do this. We can close that. I have the bank index. I just realized that. I follow the bank index too. Sometimes I forget some of the things I follow. I look at them and then I go. I look at them and I go. Right there. That's the finance one right there. It's been on that same slope since the 19th. So crypto started selling first, and the rest of them all joined in. It follows. Without a doubt, the cryptos are that. They are some form of equity. All right, we're out of here, traders. Let's see. I think we'll label today's cryptos or equity. No, I guess we talked a lot about the Japanese yen again, but what we did talk about is silver, putting a base in. I think that's what will be our title today. Silver putting a base in. All right, traders. This is Doc. Talk to you tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Remember, Monday I will be 3 hours early. All right. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. All right, traders, have a safe and smart trading day. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same channel.